books, podcasts, and countless stories from successful people all point to one undeniable truth: that manifesting and using the laws of the universe are very powerful tools to becoming successful, and those same laws can be applied in trading. Stick around, and I'm going to break down exactly how you can use these laws to become a successful trader. Law of assumption: what you constantly think about is what you become. If you haven't already, I highly recommend you take a little bit of time and listen to As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. It's here on YouTube and it's free. It's about 40 minutes. You can put it in 2x speed like I did. You can get a whole bunch of knowledge. It dives deep into exactly what we're about to talk about here. The law of assumption, which basically breaks down to become exactly who you want to be. Here's a practical exercise I want you to try out. Grab a piece of paper, then at the top, write successful/profitable trader. I'll try to hear you. So at the top, you have successful/profitable trader. Then underneath, I want you to go ahead and jot down everything that comes to your mind. So whether that person is disciplined, whether that person is patient, consistent, waits for their process, do they wake up early? Do they eat breakfast beforehand? They stick to the routine? They go to bed early? It's everything that comes to mind. Go ahead and jot it down here. I want you to go back to the top and write dash your name. So successful/profitable trader dash Roderick Mack. And the whole point of this exercise, you already know what it takes to become successful. You just wrote it down exactly right here. So from now on, I want you to step into these characteristics and become this person. And whenever you feel lost or tempted to do other things, I want you to look back at your list and remind yourself that you know exactly what you need to do. Sometimes you may even have to sit back and ask yourself, would the successful version of me do this? But this only works if you follow the next law. Law of action. Nothing changes if nothing changes. What I mean? So if you listen to 100 hours of podcasts or read 30 books in 30 days, I'll tell you now, none of it matters unless you actually put it into action. Because success isn't built on what you know, it's on what you do. Here's a method I use personally. Whenever I read a book or hear something valuable, immediately I try to put it into action. Let's take this book as an example. How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book right here carries a lot of wisdom, but none of it works unless I actually try it. It's been a minute since I read this book, but as soon as I learned something, I would immediately try it, either that night or the next morning. And I'll say this, since then, the quality of friends and the quantity of friends have increased. Next time you listen to something, read something, or just get a piece of wisdom, your next step should be practicing it and putting it into action. And from the example I just gave you, you can do it chapter by chapter, book by book, whatever works best for you. But again, nothing changes unless nothing changes. And if you're consuming just a bunch of information without actually putting anything into action, you're doing what this thing I like to call mental masturbation. And speaking of which, this leads exactly into our next law. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transferred. This law is powerful, especially when it comes down to your sexual energy. Your sexual energy is probably one of your greatest drivers, but this energy has been wasted so many times on quick, meaningless pleasure. Instead of wasting that energy, channel it into something productive. The next time you feel the urge to scroll on a certain website, do some things you really shouldn't be doing, I want you to stop yourself and redirect that same energy into something productive. Whether that's creating a YouTube video, studying on the charts, going to the gym, anything that really pushes that next needle towards your goals. So when I'm prepping for a boxing match or really focused on trading or work, I will abstain to build up and capture my sexual energy. And over time, if you abstain yourself, you know it starts to build up and really start to fuel you. You really start to tap in to different type of fuse, focus, and drive. Law of visualization. See it before you achieve it. To me, this is like the law of assumption, but take it a step further. Before you take your next trade, I want you to try this. Visualize your trade in 3 different ways. 1, you waiting for all your confluences to align and you entered your trade at the right time. 2, the trade starts to play out, then it results in a win. And finally, the 3rd, the trade starts to play out, but it resulted in a loss. Now, take a minute to experience all these outcomes. What you're doing here is train yourself to accept the process and trust that the outcome is out of your hands and up to the markets. Another important way to apply the law of visualization: what you see is what you think. I want you to take a scroll on your For You page or your feed right now and tell me exactly what you see. Is it negative stuff? Is it fighting? Is it people arguing? Is it bad, negative humor? Or are you starting to see where you want to go in life? Your future, funny things that actually uplift you and raise your vibrations. I'll let you in a little secret. Your For You page is what you make it, so you can curate it as well. If you went on my Instagram feed right now, you will see something but scriptures, motivation, money, and nice luxury things. You can do the exact same thing. Whatever you want out of life, if anything you take from this, at least start making it positive things, words of affirmation to really lift you up. Because overall, your feed is 9 times out of 10 what you look at every day. Make it something that'll actually lift you up instead of bring you down. Because if you're going to scroll forever, at least make it work in your favor. But remember, none of this works without the most important one: action. If you're serious about leveling up and wanting to be around like-minded individuals who want to grow just as much as you, If not more, then join our community. It's a family where we push each other to grow and strive for greatness, not just in trading, but in life. So click the first link in the description and join today. Success isn't just about trading. It's about becoming a well-rounded and the best version of yourself in all aspects of life. Let's make it happen together.